Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Allison and today I am back to share with you a scrapbook process layout. I'm so excited to finally have my Cricut back up and running. It was a very long weekend without anything to do, but I'm back today, ready to go. So I created a mixed media layout today. I started by preparing my paper with gesso. I applied it with a paintbrush, let it dry, and then I used the packaging technique to do the watercoloring in the background. I used two different colors. To do the watercoloring, I used a mint colored re-inker, and then to add some splatter, I used mint and lagoon. Those are close to my heart products. They are available. If you are interested in stocking up on inks or even re-inkers, I use them quite often for my mixed media. This is the picture that I am scrapbooking today. It's a picture of my daughter, and the story that I wanted to tell today is basically about how envious I am of her. She is confident, she's outgoing, she knows her mind, like she's a leader, she's not a follower. And I deeply, deeply admire her for that. The introvert in me, or me at least, I'm not that way at all. I'm very quiet, very subdued in real life. And her personality is something that I really envy. And I wanted to tell that story in this layout. I added a alphabet overlay that I cut with my Cricut to the background. I put that over the watercoloring, and then I decided to add the florals over top of it. So now that I have the placement for the florals pretty well figured out, I put them on the layout just so I could figure out in my head the order that the leaves and stuff needed to be put in. Once I had that figured out, then I decided to go ahead and add some craft foam to the back of my photo. I'm finding that with this craft foam, the tape runner that I use is not the greatest adhesive to keep it together. So I'm trying to use my liquid glue a little more frequently to adhere that to paper and my pictures and see if it sticks any better. Because I'm finding, not that they're necessarily falling apart just yet, but they don't stick very well. They come off when I move the layouts and stuff like that, like if I'm taking pictures before they get put in my album. So here I'm just adhering the leaves. I realized at this point that the purple leaf should have been attached first. By this point I had forgotten the order that things were going to go in. One track mind. I was just thinking about the finished product and not the order things should go in. So you'll see my head pop in there while I put the leaf in its appropriate place. I need to re-adhere this dark blue. It's actually peacock cardstock that I used, I think it's called. I played around with this purple leaf, moving it back and forth, and should have just left it where it was because it was perfect where it was. But in the moment, I wasn't really happy with where it was, so I moved it around. I used my liquid glue to adhere that as well. So I had a little bit of time to move it around and put it where I liked it before it actually set and became permanent. So now that I realized the purple one should be done first, I'm going to adhere the rest of the flowers. I'm actually going to do the rest of those off camera just to save time and interest. And I've got those leaves put down now. I used just a mixture of my tape runner, adhesive, and then liquid glue as well. I do have that little tab that I'm going to adhere to the right hand side of the photo. I'm not going to add it until the layout is pretty well done. That's just going to be for the date, so it doesn't need to be added until the very end. I pulled out my Versamat to help me keep my titles straight. I tried using a ruler and then gluing them sort of against the ruler to try and keep them straight, and it was just a pain in the butt. So I took my ruler away after like 2 letters and just eyeballed it. And I think I did pretty good. I think it's fairly straight, so I'm quite happy with that. Maybe it just helps to get the ball rolling to use your ruler. I'm not sure. But I like using my Versamat to line my ruler up with the measurements on the mat because the lines are already there. So that helps me keep things straight as well. And I'll use that, if you've noticed in other videos, I use that to make my lines for journaling as well. So you can see I got rid of my ruler because what a nuisance. And just continued to adhere each of the letters as straight as I could by eyeballing it. And like I said, I think I did fairly well. Once again, I used my liquid glue to adhere those. And I pulled out some black enamel dots. These are also from Close to My Heart. And I'm going to scatter them around the page. This is actually a new package of enamel dots. I really like the smallest one in the package. And actually wish they had more of those little ones because they're my favorite. I use them before I use the medium and the large ones. The large ones I don't like too much because I feel like they're too big. But anyways, I used all 3. I was using the biggest ones because I would like to try and get them used up before this new package totally gets used up, if that makes sense. So, yes, I have new black enamel dots from Close to My Heart, and they're getting scattered around the page. After I have the enamel dots down, I pull out some phrase stickers. I use Tim Holtz phrase stickers again to put a phrase underneath the title. That's why I was pointing to the layout there. In my original design, I had a phrase that was stamped, and I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to do that right off the bat. I thought I'd look at my stickers and phrase stickers first to see if I could find anything that would help complete the title. And I come across this phrase in the Small Talk Tim Holtz phrase sticker book that said something along the lines of being fearless and independent. I can't remember the entire phrase. I cut a portion of it off because the first 2 words said "we are," and that wasn't going to work with my title, but the rest did. So I ended up leaving it at that. I was thinking about adding another phrase sticker beneath it, maybe in white this time instead of black, but decided against that too. I actually do end up filling in that little spot beneath the title and the flower at the very end of the video, but I'll get to that when we get there. I added a couple more phrase stickers to the photo as well. I put the tab back where I want it on the layout just as reference because I was kind of thinking about adding some chipboard flair kind of in that corner as well. And you will see that I put a Pink Fresh Studio chipboard circle in that area. I ended up not liking it, so I ended up keeping it off the layout because I liked it just the way that it was. Here's the Pink Fresh that I pulled out. Just kind of trying it out just to see how it felt. I did move it into the blank spot beneath the title as well, off camera. I didn't like that either. The yellow doesn't quite match the yellow in the middle flower. It's the same shade, but it's quite a bit lighter. So like I could have used it because it worked with the color scheme, but I decided against it in the end. Now I'm just working on my journaling, and the journaling is basically just what I told you about my daughter, how much I admire her and envy her for her personality traits. And because there is gesso in the background and it doesn't really play nice with pencil, if I try and erase it, it just smudges it, so it ends up looking gray. I used my pen to draw over my pencil lines just to hide it so I don't have to erase it and then muck it up. With the journaling done, I decided to pull out a roller stamp that I got in one of my paper issues kits, I think last year, like in 2020. Very early 2020, I think. It's a Studio Calico stamp set, and it just has a bunch of little phrases on it. and I used that to add another phrase to my title. I guess before that I added a little bit of shimmer and sparkle to the purple leaves in the layout. I'm using a shimmer brush that I had in my stash, and once that's done I will add the little bit of stamping. And with that, this layout is complete. It was super simple to make. I had it done in 20 minutes. And there are close-ups coming up, so feel free to stick around for that. And if you'd like to see more process videos, both scrapbook layout videos and design process videos, make sure you hit the thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. If you hit the little bell after you subscribe, you won't miss any new videos from me. Thanks for joining me today, and I will be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Bye, guys.